Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and whoa, do I have a conversation for you to lean into today with author Doris Vilk. Doris was born in Havana, Cuba, and she's lived in Nassau, Bahamas, Milan, Italy, and Madrid, Spain. She currently lives in South Florida, where she loves the beach. She's happily married and has one son. In her previous endeavors, she was a practicing family and cosmetic dentist for 29 years. She served as president of several women's business associations and has won numerous community awards for her community service. But listen to this. Doris writes, let's just call them erotic novels, and she's going to tell us today how you can read her books and maybe spice up your relationships. And in the age of 50 Shades of Grey, and now with the new movie, The Book Club out, Doris is on the cutting edge. Welcome, Doris.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here today.
This is a really exciting time in the world today because people are opening up, willing to talk about things that they never talked about. And I want you to tell me more about your books. You've actually written a series, and you have book number 1 and 2 out, and number 3 is on the way. Tell me more about the books, their titles, and a little more about your storyline.
Okay, so my first book, like Tammy said, I was a dentist and had some health issues, so I needed to leave dentistry as a career. And I had this romance story always in my head, like 30 years since college. And like Tammy said, 50 Shades of Grey was very popular, and I'm like, well, I can take this and spice it up. And so I did. You know, I was in a career that was very conservative and controlling with lots of rules. And I'm sure a lot of women out there, or even men in your audience, also are in similar situations where you feel so controlled and you have to be so straight-laced and serious. And sometimes there's a little playful part of us that just needs to get out and just needs that permission. The permission to say, hey, it's okay to be a little naughty. It's okay to pursue our sexuality, to just explore it and see what's there. And sometimes if that's not what's been in your reality, in your current reality, you need a little like something to get you going. And for me, as a straight-laced dentist, I read 50 Shades and I was like, whoa, what's this? And I was in that club of, hey, I like this. I'm finding a part of me that I didn't know I had. And I did see the movie, The Book Club, which was hysterical, by the way. I strongly recommend it. And so I wrote my romance and I spiced it up. And the first book is called Love Arrested. And this is Love Arrested. It's sold on Amazon or through my website at dorisvilk.com. And Vilk is spelled like V as in vibrant, I-L-K. And Love Arrested, it's a story of a model and an actress that's framed for a crime that she didn't commit. And through going through the prison experience, she gets involved with one of the guards thinking that she can improve her situation in the prison. And he is, you know, your typical like bad guy from like a Lifetime TV movie where the gorgeous guy, the Adonis, is really the monster. And he doesn't treat her very well. We'll just put it that way because I don't want to give away the whole plot. And she ends up in the medical department and meets Dr. Franklin Lomagistro, who's a physician at the prison. And the rest of the story you have to read, Love Arrested, because it's all about Susan's fall from grace. You know, if you were an actress and you had everything and you lose everything, if you have your best friend betray you, if you have people not treat you right, how do you come back from that? Who in your life do you meet that is the person that can help you get to where you want to be? And what is it about falling in love? Can you fall out of love? Because there's situations with her current husband when she goes into the prison, and what happens when she meets a doctor. And besides being a very sexy, erotic, steamy book, steamier in many ways than 50 Shades, not really BDSM like 50 Shades, it's also about learning your senses, you know, your sense of sight and smell and taste and touch. And it includes all of that. And I think the book's been very popular because even though we may not be actresses and people may not have abused us, or we haven't been saved, or we don't have other than platonic relationships with our physicians, although we may want to, some of them are pretty hot themselves. It's really about that the human experience, and we've all been through similar situations, even though they're not the same situations. We've had the friend that we thought was a good friend and they kind of betrayed us and threw us under the bus. We've lusted for someone that maybe we thought we couldn't attain. We've maybe had it all and lost everything. I myself was a Cuban refugee and went through that experience. So the experiences and the senses become very real for the reader. And I think that's why the books have become so popular. And that's basically Love Arrested, which is the first book in the trilogy.
Right. And you also, these books, you're an international best-selling author, and the reviews on your books are really, really hot because people do say, hey, when I read this book, I am there. I can taste it. I can smell it. I can hear it. I can be it. Many people can be put into your place with Susan, and some people even feel like they are Susan by reading your book. So that's a really, in my opinion, when you hear about books, a lot of people go, yeah, it was like 50 Shades of Grey. If you read the reviews on that, most people say, you know, it's an okay book, and the topic is what's steamy. But when people review your book and read your book, they actually say, oh my God, I couldn't put this book down.
Yeah, they're there. And they're always asking me, so when's the next one coming? When's the next one coming? And I'm like, people, I'm writing a novel here. I'm not writing a grocery list, you know?
So what's your second book? That one's out too.
Second book is out too. Same thing. It's on Amazon.com or through my website at dorisvilk.com. That's V as in vibrant. And my website has a link to Amazon, so it's all very secure and safe and all that. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Kindle for iBooks and also in print. The second book is called Love Attempted, and it follows Susan and Franklin Lomagistro and all these other characters that people come to love, like Roberta Jimenez and Paul the guard and Suzanne the guard and Jackie, and all these characters that people fall in Love and Love Arrested. And it follows them through, okay, so now what's happening? If Susan gets out of prison, let's assume that she gets out of prison at some point, what happens in the relationship? What are the trying times? And people that were, that got her and she can get back or whatever, what kind of revenge are they seeking on her? and her what becomes her ex-husband. Now he wants her back because he sees that she really wasn't guilty. Can you love two men at the same time? Do you want to go back to the first guy who you really had nothing against except that he was fooled by the same con you were fooled by? Can you love two men? Can you work with an ex? It brings in all these other issues. And it brings in some new characters that also, some new villains, some new characters to love. And so it becomes now new trials and challenges for Susan. And again, just like in Love Arrested, I like to put the reader right there in the thriller. So besides being a steamy hot novel, which is great to read with your partner, and kind of spice things up a little bit, see what Susan and Franklin are up to, and maybe it opens up the discussion for you and your partner as to what you might like in your own sexuality or in your lives, what your goals are. Besides all that, you now have these new villains and new challenges. So it's also, just like in Love Arrested, even though we're in the romantic genre, it's also a thriller because you have this mystery component to the books that take you to places and you can feel her pain or her challenges and is she going to come out of the situation and what's going to happen and those are the things that make you want to keep turning those pages and find out what the heck now, kind of thing.
Wow, that's really exciting. And then you actually have a third book coming out later this year. So it's following Susan and the gang.
Yes, and the gang.
Another world.
Yeah.
Can you just give us a little hint about that?
So the hint of that is the third book is called Love Avenged. And again, it follows Susan and Franklin, and now they're family, and a lot of the same guards and characters that we've grown to love, and the same villains. Some of the villains from Love Arrested, well, they're not so happy with Susan, right? So at this point, they've never been, they've always had a thing for her, and there's that intertwining again of bringing back a lot of the aspects of the first book and the second book and making that all come together in the third book. And again, we bring in that steamy, lovely lust, sex in all kinds of great places. We also bring in the challenges that couples have when you're in a long-term relationship. And now things aren't always in the honeymoon stages. And it brings in now, okay, so now Susan and her lover, Franklin, have been together for a while. Dale, her ex, is still in the picture. What's happening with that threesome? Again, can you get together with somebody? Are you coming apart? What are your challenges? How do you keep the romance alive? What mistakes do couples make in their relationship? Sometimes we make mistakes and we push those we push those we love away from us, and we want to bring them closer. So again, for the readers, they may not be Susan or Franklin or Dale or any of these characters we come to love in this trilogy of the Chatham series, but you can relate to the scenarios. Like, yes, my spouse or my boyfriend or my girlfriend did this, and am I going to forgive her for that? Or she's choosing this decision. She's choosing work before our family. Can I deal with that? Am I going to accept that? Or is that going to be a deal breaker for me? It brings in now those aspects of a long-term relationship. So if you read the books in order, you can kind of grow yourself through all the characters and what's happening in the storyline. But all the books are written to be standalone too, and to read them not in order. So that if you want to read one and then go back and read another, so it's like your prequel, which is very popular now. Look at The movie Solo just came out for the Star Wars fans. People love to go into the future, go back. So I'm being a past dentist. I'm analytical and like to go 1, 2, 3, read Love Arrested, Love Attempted, and Love Avenged. But if you kind of like that, mix it up where you might want to start with one and then read the other as a prequel and read the other as a sequel, you can certainly do that, because I purposely wrote each book to be a standalone or to be as part of the series. So there's enough reminder for the reader, because that was something that comments I heard from fans of 50 Shades was that so much time would elapse either between the books or between the movies, and you sort of forget a little bit what the dynamics with the couple was or who some of the other characters were, unless you're like one of these crazy fans that follows these things every day. And for my fans that are like that want to follow me every day, I'm certainly on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook. Everything is under Doris Vilk. So that's Doris, V as in vibrant, ILK. And you can find, if you want to follow along every day, you can. But for those that don't, the books will give you enough of a reminder that if a length of time comes out, then that's where we're at. Love Avenged has been written, so that makes everybody very happy. It's currently at the editor, and it's been taking a little bit longer at the editor than we wanted for personal reasons of the editor. But it should still come out for 2018. I'm still hoping for a summer release so that we can get it out for summer reading. So we're still keeping our fingers crossed that that'll happen. But it should certainly be out in 2018, and that's Love Avenged by Doris Vilk.
Wow, that sounds exciting, because, just the idea in my mind, with the trilogy, right there, you've got 3 movies or more.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, you have all of these other characters that people are interested in, and that it's like, well, you wonder, well, gee, you could probably write a whole book about some of these other relationships.
Yes.
Characters. So I imagine that in the future, there's more books coming. That it's just a process. And like you said, hey, I'm writing a novel. It takes time to create these adventures for people.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people, and again, you mentioned it, a lot of people are looking for books they can read with their partner that are entertaining and that opens up those lines of communications. So do you think that this is a trend happening now? Like with the movie, the book club movie, for example, people are talking, and then a lot of women, Jane Fonda, I think, is actually 80 now. And all of the other, women. So, it isn't just about the young girls like in 50 Shades of Grey, it's like a, very young girl when she met him. What do you think are some of the trends just in general, not only in books, but in the real world?
Well, I think because of the Me Too movement and all this discussion of what's inappropriate between male and females, it's also opening up the communications for women and men to discuss what is appropriate in a relationship, what is consensual, and that you can do some, in 50 Shades of Grey, she calls it kinky, F word. I don't want to drop any bombs here, but it opens up the lines of communication between men and women. And reading sexy books together helps you with that. And if you're reading it alone and you're having problems in your relationship, it gives you a way to escape without being unfaithful or breaking any vows or commitments you've made in your relationships. And if you are in a happy relationship, it still opens those lines of communication. So I think the Me Too movement, the fact that women are much more empowered now. Look, we just have a woman in charge of Wall Street. How awesome is that? And Susan Chatham, even though she's got all these villains after her, even though all these things happen to her where her power, it may seem, is taken away, the books are really about Susan Chatham is really a very empowered woman and a very gung-ho woman. And she gives other women like ourselves the encouragement to be ourselves, to speak up. You know, if we're into toys or we want a certain thing from our man, to have the courage to speak up, to say what's inappropriate, to be able to forgive. Because in Love Attempted, Love Arrested is a lot about a woman's empowerment, even though in the beginning all her power is actually taken away. By the end of the book, she's really an empowered woman. In Love Attempted, it's more about forgiveness. And aren't we all sometimes in situations where we really, and everybody would agree with us, that we don't have to forgive, that someone really kind of did us in, and why are we forgiving them? But yet sometimes in forgiving somebody else, we're freeing ourselves. And Love Attempted is a lot about forgiveness. And the third book, Love Avenged, is really a lot about couples challenges and what happens in our future, and taking us to the next level. And that's Love Avenged. And the future books, there's, like you said, Tammy, even myself as an author, I haven't decided yet where we're going. A part of me wants to take the couple, like you said, that not everybody's a young Anastasia Gray or Christian Gray. We have women like Jane Fonda and Mary Steenburgen, and who else is in that? Candice Bergen. And I forget who's the fourth actress that's in that book club. Women in what I would consider my generation, we're finding our sexuality, or we're being open to it. And I'd like to take Susan into her middle age and maybe follow her into the future when her family is grown and a lot of her career may be done. And figure most actresses, there aren't a lot of roles for them anymore, and take her into the future. So that's a thought I've had. I would like to call that book Love Ascended, because to me that's important, because sometimes we're better as we get older. I was a great dentist. My patients send me little notes all the time like, wow, I have to go to another dentist now, and I really miss you. They're not the way you were. And look at, and I'll see the pictures, let's say on Facebook, of some patients I was friendly with, and I'll see them smiling with their family, and I can tell that that's a smile I had created years and years ago, knowing that, wow, that dentistry lasted way longer than it was supposed to. And it's my pleasure and my joy to do that with my books for my reading fans now, to make people smile in other ways. And hopefully the books will be here long after, I'm old and gray, although my colorist will try to help me out with that. But, that's really what it's about. I'm thinking of taking it and being a Love Ascended and making it the power of an older woman, and what happens if we see an older Susan. And then we can take these other couples and go back to them, that we.
Well, I personally think that at some point you're probably going to be approached to make a movie with these books, because, like I said, you're operating with all the senses.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes both a great book and a good movie.
Yes.
Because you can move through that. So you're on a constant media tour. I know that, because
always.
I know.
I actually have, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Tammy. Mm-hmm. I actually have somebody now, her name's Christina Lynn from Christina Lynn TV Productions, and she's pitching the book to cable TV and streaming services. So far, we've had some interest from HBO and from Lifetime. I don't know where it's going to go. These cable TV streaming services have ladders of people and executives, and all I know is we've made it to rung one in the matter. That may mean, show is movie deal, series is coming. It may mean nothing. It may mean that we stepped up a step. But I'm putting it out there because I do see it as a movie or a series. The scenes, when I write it, it's like a scene in my head. And I think that's what makes the descriptions and all that realistic that you mentioned a lot of the reviewers have said. Oh, and here's my inspiration on the G-strum coming in the background. Always my inspiration. It would be a great dream. The dream is to see the actress that's playing the heroine, Susan Chatham, on the red carpet winning a Best Actress award. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh my goodness, it would. And I think putting it out there, I think that it is a real possibility because, again, one of the things about your books are they're actually very well written. And again, many of the reviews actually talk about that. And they talk about not being able to put the book down. They talk about being able to see everything and really feel the entire experience as they read it. And to me, those are signs of not only a good book, but an excellent or really good book that could be turned into a movie. And how cool could that be?
So cool.
If you think about, sometimes they might not let you write the screenplay, but then you of course could be the advisor. So it could open up this really cool world for you. And, so you've done some book signings. I know you've been on some radio shows and some other video shows. Do you have any events planned in the future or speaking engagements? Well,
just this afternoon, there's a group on Facebook that's a readers group called Three Witches Reading Group. They named it Three Witches because they say, we all have a little bit of Wicked in us. So I'm doing what they call a takeover at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on today, which is, I believe, May 25th. And next Tuesday, I'm going to be at Cafe Vico in Fort Lauderdale with another, it's actually a business group. And what I'm going to be talking about there is taking a career, when you've had a career, and can you enter into a new career and still make that a sizzling an experience? Because here I was, this dentist and, the analytical, artistic science career. And now I'm totally, out there with, with these books that are very, very non-dental and, I would not have brought into the dental school when I was teaching at Nova Dental. And maybe it's something in the lemon ginger tea. It's one thing I have in common with the heroine is she loves lemon ginger tea, and so do I. But I think that's all a part of it.
Wow. So before I let you go, let's remind everyone again how they can find more information about you. Obviously, you're on every social media platform. Yes. So look for that. So the best how to get your books.
The best way would be probably to go to my website because through the website, there's links to all the social media sites, and there's also links to Amazon to purchase the books. So the website is www.dorisvilk.com. Or people can go directly to Amazon and look for Doris Vilk or look for Love Arrested, Love Attempted, and those books are already for sale there. And when Love Avenged comes out, I will be selling it in similar ways. Locally in Delray Beach, there's a bookstore called Murder on the Beach. And my books are available there too.
Oh, cool.
They are at that bookstore, and that's basically it. That's where I'm at now. I'm constantly working at it and working on trying to get it into more bookstores. I've toyed with the idea of making some audio books, so I think while I'm waiting for Love, Avenged to finish getting edited, I may pursue getting these two on as audiobooks, because I know some people like to listen to the book and not necessarily have to read it.
So who do you think, what type of voice person would you want to read your book or tell the book or act out the book?
I think I would, they let you get people to audition.
Uh-huh.
And listen to recordings of different people's voices and pick who you want to read the book. I think even though my books are really they're written in third person with the conversations between the couples taking place in first person.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would rather have a woman with a very sexy, seductive voice, because that's the voice I picture Susan would have as an actress and as a singer. I think a very fine voice would be the proper choice for that.
Wow. Well, so right now, if there's any voiceover actors or actresses out there, maybe they might want to send you an audition tape. They can go get the book and do an audition tape, because I think that it would definitely lend to an audio book. And what would be cool about that, then you have not only the Kindle books, the digital books, the paperback books, the audio books, and then when the movie comes out, boom, you have everything. So that's really cool.
I really think that that's a project that I know that I want to pursue. It's just a matter of getting everything in. Like right now, my next thing is getting this takeover at Three Witches, and then planning the speech for Tuesday.
Right.
And I try to take one project at a time, but I'm always out there, and I like to take the energy that I had as a dentist and put it into these books. And I think, again, why they're so realistic, that as a dentist, you have to have extreme attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
And extreme concentration and focus. And if you can put that into a thriller or a sexy, steamy love scene, it's everything. It's everything to the reader. If it moves me, if it doesn't move, I got that turned around. When I'm reading it myself, when I'm reading the draft, before I click to upload it, to create space, to be able to publish on Amazon, before I do that, if it doesn't make me want to cry in the crying scenes or laugh in the laughing scenes, or I don't want to say too much because I don't know what audience is listening, but move you in the sexual direction during the steamy scenes, then I don't want to put it out there. I will work on it until the details are right, so that if I feel it and I wrote it, the reader is certainly going to feel those sensations and emotions. And that's what it's all about, is entertaining and putting a smile in people a different way, rather than with a drill, a handpiece, and ceramic materials. I'm now putting it out there in words, and hopefully once I do the audiobooks, in sound as well.
Wow. So everyone, we've been getting the insider information directly from the author, Doris Vilk. And of course, you're always invited back, Doris. And when it's time, when the third book comes out, I want you to come back, so we'll talk more and we'll reveal more about that book at that time.
Yes.
So everyone, again, Doris, you can always find her somewhere live. There are tons of other interviews she's done with many different people, available online on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram, all of the different social media platforms. Of course, you can go to her website, Doris Vilk, and that's VILK.com, Doris Vilk. And of course, the books are on Amazon. And read the reviews, because people love these books. These people, they take the time and they write reviews telling exactly why they love the books. So the reviews are really valuable. And of course, the books are written to evoke emotion and sensations, and for you to really enjoy, not only by yourself, but with your partner, and how cool would that be if you can read a book together? I'd say that that's the ultimate in togetherness, when you can like read a story together or to each other. That can just make you become very, very close. Yes. Because you're sharing something that is very personal, and when you read it together, you can discuss it, and it can open up these lines of communication. So you're really doing a public service, Doris.
I am. And what's interesting is there's a lot of diversity in the books, and there's a lot of diversity in who's enjoying the books. Everything from, a millennial to my oldest fan just turned 80. And she actually read the book twice and took a highlighter and highlighted all the steamy scenes so she could go back to those with her hubby. So I'm like, okay, too much information, but enjoy.
But I think that's it. But you make people want to share. Hey, you're changing my life. Your books actually are helping people transform their lives, opening people up to feelings and conversations, and you can help people actually make their relationships better and more creative. And I mean, who wouldn't want that? So congratulations.
Thank you.
International best-selling book status. The books are available on Amazon. The movie talks. I mean, hey, the very fact that someone is actually trying to talk to people about your books for movies, that's one step closer to making that a reality. And the fact that your books are so visual and so sensual in all aspects, it makes it easy for a reader to, go into the story and be involved in that. And that's why I know people, when they say, I couldn't put it down, can you imagine here you are and I've got to get up and go to work in the morning, but you can't put the book down. And so you say, oh, well.
You want to see what happens. It's like, wait, what's happening? What are they doing now? No.
So, great. Well, Doris, thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. I feel like I'm an insider with this. And everyone go to dorisvilk.com. Check out everything on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Doris is everywhere. Go to her website, go find the books. And if you already are a Doris Vilk fan, definitely go and leave a review.
Yes, absolutely.
That helps Doris to know what you want. What do you want more of? What characters do you love? Maybe you have ideas about some situations, and then maybe it could become, I don't know what they call it after a trilogy, but, more. If you like Susan and her adventures, or if you like other characters in the book, what would you like to see Doris do for the future books? Because obviously, if she's written 3 books, she's capable of writing number 4, 5, 6, and beyond.
I would love that feedback. I would love to have more followers on the different social media platforms and more engagement. Talk to me. I want to know what you want. What parts did you like? What did you not like? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? In the second book, there's actually an interview where the characters are dissing on me. And I plan to do that again for the third book. So if the readers out there have questions for me or want to see a character say something to me, feed me those lines. I would love to get ideas and incorporate that into the books. That'd be awesome.
Wow. That's really cool, because that's one thing that I think for readers, how cool is it that they can actually communicate directly with the author of books that they love? And that is one thing about people who read. They do love their authors, but to be able to talk to you and give you feedback, how cool is that? That's wonderful. So again, everyone, Doris, is there any last thing that you'd like to share with everyone?
No, I just say, enjoy everything that I put out there, because I do it because I enjoy it, and I want others to enjoy it too. Making others smile with something I've created has made me happy in dentistry and makes me happy in this. So I'm here to serve you. So that's all I can say.
Great. Thank you so much. Everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go visit dorisvilk.com and definitely reach out to Doris, talk to her, and have a great conversation so that you can be part of the writer's process. Again, everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Have a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.